gentlemen, and welcome to Sports and Soppressata, the greatest sports talk show in the world. I am your host, Lino Stoya, and there is so much to talk about here on Tuesday, August 25th, with a lot going on in the sports world. I know we missed a lot last week, but we are here today, and that's what matters. And we have a great show coming up, going in depth on who is going to go all the way in the college football playoffs, who is going to get to their playoff spots in the MLB, and more NFL news. Today we have a lot coming up, but let's get into college football. The sport of a lifetime, college football, is coming just around the corner. A season where you never know what could happen. Teams who are good can fall down. Teams who are down can go up. It's always going to be a mix-up of amazing stuff happening, and I am so excited to say this is where we talk about it, because we haven't talked about college football in a while, and we're here to talk about it now. Let's go to the college football rankings. The preseason AP poll has came out recently. Let's see if we agree with it. Let's see if we think these teams are going to be in contention this year. So, let's go. At number 25, the AP poll has Missouri. Missouri is a good college. They're on the rise. They're getting a lot better than they have been in the past years, and I definitely could see them on the brink of number 25. As for Louisville, I also see them as, a 25, 24 team. They're right there. They were right there last year, and I think they're getting back to that spot again this year. Then there's a little wild card. Houston is looking to make their icebreaker into the top 25 this year. The Cougars are a very good school for basketball, and they also are very athletic. Last year they had a good season, and this year they're trying to capitalize on that season by pushing their game even further. I think Iowa at number 22 is also a great pick. Iowa's always been able to hang in there with the Big Ten teams in their conference, and they're always right there, so I could definitely see them in there too. The Utah Utes. The Utah Utes were a team last year that we thought was going to be able to make the college football playoffs. They were very fun to watch. They were very exciting. And I think this year, knowing that they were right there, they're hungry and they want to get right back to that spot. I actually could see Utah being a little further than where they are placed right now. For number 20, Tennessee. Tennessee is a team that every year has been said, oh, Tennessee's going to win it this year. Tennessee's going to go far in the playoffs this year. Tennessee's never able to capitalize on that. Tennessee's a very good SEC school, but they just don't have the quarterback that's as strong and is a leader that these other teams that succeed have. And I think that's the biggest difference for Tennessee. I think this year they're able to kind of make a switch, as I think they're going to be able to, I don't think they're going to go past where they're being pulled right now, but I think they could definitely reach that spot because they have not reached it well in the past few years. For number 19, SMU. SMU is a very good school. They were at the top last two years ago when we first released the new format of the college football playoffs. But this year, I think they had a little bounce back. They lost some players in the draft into, just running out of years. But I think this year there's a new line of players in SMU, and I think they're going to be able to get right back in there. Number 16, Penn State, the college last year that everyone thought was going to go far and possibly win the national championship, lost their coach midseason, had horrible losses to teams they should have never lost to, and now they are here in kind of a comeback and underdog way of starting the season. They were awful last year. They have a new coach now. There's a lot that Penn State needs to do to prove themselves to the college football people. And I just think that Penn State at 18 is very fair, but I could see them going a little further. I think the new coach is a lot better than James Franklin. Number 17, Washington. Washington, always kind of in the mix. They're one of those teams that, you're never going to expect them to go far. You're never going to expect them to take a step back. They're always kind of just right there, so I do agree with that. Number 16, Michigan. Michigan is a very good football school, as we all know. Do we see them at number 16? A little further back than we would have thought they would be, as Michigan is one of the top schools in college football history. But you need to look at it like this. They lost a lot of people that national championship year. They lost people last year. This year, I think they're using it as a recruiting year, just trying to get all the guys they need so that next year they're able to do that big push for the college football playoffs. I don't think they have it this year, but I think if they take this year to just make sure everyone stays healthy, get more recruits, they're going to be right there next year. Number 14, BYU. BYU is just like Washington. We don't expect them to go far. We don't expect them to take a step back. They're just right there, and that's what their job is. Number 14, USC. USC was getting interesting in the end of the season last year. There was a chance that USC was going to be able to sneak into the college football playoffs. It didn't happen, but I could definitely see USC be right there on the brink of making the college football playoffs. Number 13, Alabama. Alabama last year had a very rough start of the season. We thought that it was all going to fall down and Alabama was going to go take a huge step back. But it didn't happen, and Alabama stayed together with what it looks like glue. And not Gorilla Glue, Elmer's glue. That's what Alabama looked like. They were staying together. They finished the season pretty good, and now they're ranked 13. I think Alabama can bounce back this year. I think they had a very odd year for a college like Alabama. I think they're definitely going to be able to get right back up there. For number 12, Texas Tech. Texas Tech last year had one of the best years of program history. They were right there on, going far in the college football playoffs, and I think that this year they're going to do the exact same thing. They did lose some players, but you know what? I think they're going to be able to still push. Number 11, LSU. This is the team that people have a lot of mixed feelings about. People think they're either going to go far or they're either going to crash and burn. I think with Coach Lane Kiffin bringing a lot of the Ole Miss guys over there, they're going to have a strong coaching staff. But you cannot coach bad players. And I don't think LSU has bad players. I just think we have not seen anything out of LSU's players in the past couple of years. And now you want to put the bunch right there? I don't know what this thing. And I know college football players are always changing, but the guys who, were there last year and the year before really haven't been showing us what we want to see out of LSU to have them be in the top 15. I do think LSU is going to be able to make it interesting, make the college football playoffs, but I'm not expecting them to go far or win anything in the college football playoffs. Number 10, Oklahoma. Oklahoma was very aggressive last year. They had a very good year, and I think they're going to capitalize on that again. Keep on pushing. They did not lose a ton of people in the draft, which is very fortunate for them, as they're a team who's been on the rise and building up to this moment. I think they're going to be able to do some damage, and they are ranked number 10. At number 9, Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss should be a little higher. They've kept Trinidad, and I think because of that, they're going to be able to excel. If they lost Trinidad, I think they take a big step back. But they have Trinidad Chambliss, and I know a lot of people are talking about the coaching staff at Ole Miss. It's not that bad of a situation as you think. If it was really bad, you don't see Ole Miss almost reaching the national championship. So that's why I think that everything is fine. It might not be great, but they're fine with the coaching staff. That's why I think Ole Miss at 9 is a little bit because there are some teams at the top that I don't see being at the top. Number 8, Texas A&M. I think Ole Miss can go before Texas A&M. They had a very good year last year, and I think this year, if they are able to continue that same drive and that same effort that they were putting in last season, they're going to be fine. They're going to do the same thing they did last year, get into the college football playoffs, win a game, and maybe drop out. But I think if they just keep on having that grit, having that energy, we'll be able to go far. For number 7, the University of Miami. This is my pick to win the national championship, and then they're number 7, which I think is insane. I think Miami is the strongest team in college football playoffs. Their defense is one of the strongest, toughest, grittiest in the college football league. And their quarterback is amazing. Their wide receiver core is also very good, very intense. This Miami team is going to be amazing. They're in the ACC, so they have a little easier route to the playoffs, but the University of Miami, I think, is definitely going to be a name you see on the national championship ticket. I am very excited to see what they do. They are my pick to win it all. But as the team that won it all last year, Indiana. This is a very kind of controversial pick at 6. They lost a ton of their seniors to the draft with Fernando Mendoza, Omar Cooper Jr., and others. So now they're going into this season losing their best player with Fernando Mendoza and losing a good amount of the people who he was able to, bring up with him in the offense. So I do think Kirk Cincinnati is one of the best coaches in college football. There's no doubt about that. He is able to build up any player. But they're still left with those 3- and 4-star recruits that they had from last year. But I think last year with them winning the national championship has brought an upbringing in 5-star recruits choosing Indiana. I think this year is going to be a year where they're going to kind of, they might make the college football playoffs or they might be right in the brink of it. But I think last year was the year where people have opened their eyes saying, I want to go to Indiana. So that next year when these recruits come in, they're going to have a lot more 5 stars and they're going to be a lot stronger team. Next year's the year where I can see Indiana at the 6 rather than right now, because they did lose a lot of people. But I think they're going to be getting those 5-star recruits and they're going to be a college football contender in the years to come. Number 5, Texas. Texas was supposed to win it all last year. They were supposed to be the strongest team in the college football league by a mile. That didn't happen. Arch Manning, supposed to win the Heisman. That didn't happen. Now they're ranked number 5. They were ranked number 1 at the start of the season last year. I think this is a wake-up call. I think Steve Sarkisian realizes that we cannot play cocky. We cannot play like we are the best team and that we are going to win. We need to play behind. And I think that's what if teams are able to do that, teams are able to win. I think that's what they need to do if they want to see any gold later in the season. Number 4, Notre Dame, another big contender to win it all this year. Notre Dame, very strong. They have a very strong offense, very strong defense, and a great coaching staff. I think they're going to be able to win. I don't think they're going to win it all, but they're definitely going to be right there in contention, be in the Final 4 teams in the college football playoffs. Number 3, Georgia, the Dogs. Everyone loves the Georgia Dogs, and everyone loves watching the Georgia Dogs. But Georgia has always been told they're going to win the national championship this year. They're going to win the national championship this year, next year, the year before. All this, they never do. They do the bare minimum of what they're supposed to do. Now look, every team is supposed to win the national championship. I get it. But what Georgia's supposed to do, they do the bare minimum of it. They're not able to go and reach above and beyond. And I think that's what is making Georgia be a step down this year. Yes, the power rankings say they're 3. But I think we are realizing that Georgia's a little bit of a fraud. We think they're going to do all this stuff, but then they kind of take the easy route, do the bare minimum, get what they're supposed to do, but not what they need to do. I think that's why Georgia will not be winning this year and are going to take a step back. They did lose one of their best wide receivers in Zachariah Branch and a few other key players on the defense and offense, so they did lose players, but Georgia's one of those teams where they can lose players and get the players back through recruiting. I think they're going to be good, but I don't see Georgia finishing like they did last year or, getting further in the college football playoffs because I think they're a little bit of a fraud. Number 2, Oregon. The Oregon Ducks, they were phenomenal last year. Very fun to watch. They are back in the draft. They still have Dante, which I think is a big key for them. They didn't lose a ton of people in the draft, which is also good for them. So I think Oregon's good. They are good right there. They're good to be a number 2. They might not win the national championship, but they're definitely going to be in contention for it. As for number 1, Ohio State, the team that everyone always thinks is going to win the national championship, they didn't win it last year. They were upset by Indiana when Indiana took their trophy out of their hands. And I think that's the huge difference. I think Ohio State had a wake-up call. They are always being told they're the best. Now, this last season, they were like, whoa, we're not the best anymore. That was the difference. Ohio State, I think, is still going to be able to make a push for the college football playoffs, be interesting, go to the later rounds, no doubt about it. But I don't see them winning the national championship this year because I see the University of Miami taking it all this year. I am very excited to see what happens later in the college football season. But let's, real quickly before we run out of time, go into the Major League Baseball playoffs. It's shaping up to be a very interesting end of the season. There are so many different cases we can have, different outcomes that can happen. Let's start off in the American League. The Tampa Bay Rays are leading the American League the most. But then the second team is the New York Yankees, who people have been saying are struggling all year. And as a Yankee fan, I see them struggle, and I'm really shocked that they're right there. But the Chicago White Sox trail the Yankees, and the Rays and the Rangers also trail them as well. And the Boston Red Sox are also going to be able to sneak their way in. So just to put this into perspective, there are 3 divisions. The New York Yankees have a better record than all the leaders in those divisions, besides the Rays. The Boston Red Sox have a better record than the other 2 division leaders. So the East is the Rays, the Yankees, and the Red Sox. Those are the leaders of that division, and if they were all in different divisions, they would be leading. But it's going to get down to crunch time. The Boston Red Sox are very good when the air gets to cool and the leaves start to fall. They can really make it interesting. The Yankees, I think, they're going to be able to get in there. I think the Red Sox sneak their way in, but then you have to deal with your division in the later rounds of the playoffs, which would definitely be harder. And if the Yankees have to face Boston like they did last year, it's going to be very interesting seeing how this team will be able to handle the pressure. For the other teams, Chicago White Sox and Texas Rangers, expect early exits. Do not expect these teams to go far. They are really on the verge of a losing record. In the West, the Texas Rangers are on basically a losing record. If they lose tonight, they will be on a losing record, and they'll be leading their division. So they're definitely taking an early exit. Chicago White Sox could make something happen, but remember, they're the White Sox. They haven't done anything in the past 20 years, so they're probably going to make an early exit. It's going to come down to the Tampa Bay Rays, the New York Yankees, and the Boston Red Sox on who's going to advance to the World Series. And I think the Yankees are veterans in the game of going to the World Series. They're veterans of the game of going through the playoff gauntlet. Their pitching is finally back to 100% healthy, but you need to keep it that way. You need to keep injuries in their places and not let them sparse and go away. As for the National League, the Atlanta Braves are not leading the league like they were earlier in the season, but it is the Dodgers and the Brewers who are right there on top. The Brewers are always a team that's right there. They are going to be very good. Do I see them going to the playoffs and making it to the World Series? I do. I think the Milwaukee Brewers are one of the strongest teams in baseball. They finally have the pitching system figured out where you can rely on them to go deep into the playoffs and have the arms in the rotation. I think the Milwaukee Brewers will be meeting whoever comes out of the East of the American League in the finals. Very interesting to see what happens. Sorry we didn't get to any NFL talk. Nothing big to talk about, but we will talk about tomorrow. It is a great Tuesday, August 25th. Thank you for joining us here on Sports Soppressata. I'm Lina Soya, and we will see you tomorrow.